What's going on, everyone? So we got something here for AC Shadows. Lead producer says game is pushing the limits. Luke here, he goes over like different aspects of things that we haven't seen in the game, and I agree with him. This one is not necessarily so much to focus on the drama that we have before, but there is some things we will react to. And I know I built a big bond with Japan over the past 5 weeks, which I loved engaging with y'all on and off, and I appreciate the support. And I've been trying different stuff outside of that just to get more creative on my channel. I appreciate the likes and supports on that, y'all. And also appreciate the subs. Definitely trying to grow this channel. So thank you all for that. And those of you that haven't, you will not be disappointed by subbing to this channel. I got a lot of content coming around the corner. Just to let you guys know, this channel is going to be about a lot of stuff. This is something that was necessary, I think, for me to cover and do the right thing on. And, definitely going forth when it comes to DEI, woke, all that stuff, because it just hurts the gaming industry. If we don't deal with it, then it's going to affect everything. So I think as an intelligent gamer, you definitely want to deal with that. So yeah, if you guys thinking about joining, go ahead and like I said, like and subscribing. All that stuff helps because you're supporting someone who's gonna be doing the right thing for gaming, and you're gonna be having some epic experiences in the future. Like I said, I'm going through the Assassin's Creed series right now, and I got a ton of other games. Wukong. I'll play Star Wars on the Ubisoft service. I'm not buying it. Same thing with Shadow, so we can see what the hell's going on in there and see all the details in there because we don't have much on it. Obviously, I'm doing Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. I'm doing Monster Hunter Wilds next year. You know what I mean? I'm playing the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. And there's a lot of other games like Silent Hill 2, that are coming out. And lots of other games that we haven't gotten to that are going to be also on Game Pass day one. So there's a lot of games I'm going to be playing. Blue Protocol, other service games. It just depends on, what's going on. But I can guarantee you I'm going to be playing a lot of games and y'all going to enjoy it. So stick around and you won't be disappointed. All right, let's see what Luke's talking about here and let's react along the way and see what Carl One has to say.
So this is an article from Games Radar, and it seems to directly address something that I pointed out and I was frustrated with, which
I watched
is
a little bit of it.
I appreciate that. So basically, this is about Assassin's Creed Shadows, not
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
that's a different game. But we looked at some of the footage that they released of Nawe doing parkour, and I felt that clearly they've done some improvements to like lighting systems, to the weather systems, and like the trees and foliage and stuff. But as for other things like the movement, animations, stuff like that, it feels like Valhalla 1.5, or maybe even, dare I say, Valhalla 2.0. It could even be that much.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel like the leap forward I was hoping to see after 4 years, because going from like Syndicate to Origins was a huge leap where, whether you liked it or not, there was a lot different between Syndicate and Origins. Totally different game. And that's a lot of people's frustration, is that it felt like a totally new franchise. But
Origins is
with
amazing.
this 4-year gap, it seems like there haven't been a ton of like major upgrades or shifts or things. It seems like they've done some stuff here and there, but it just doesn't seem like a huge leap forward. However, an article from Games Radar says Assassin's Creed Shadows is pushing the limits of what Ubisoft can do with PS5 and Xbox Series.
Pushes the limits of pissing off Japan and other people and getting away with what they can do. But all in all, I think what they mean is probably from a technological standpoint. But it's a lot more important things than that.
X. It's going big on aspects like weather and lightning. And when you purchase through links on our site, they get a commission. Okay. AC Shadows is pushing the limits of what Ubisoft can do with current gen consoles. In a new interview with GamesIndustry.biz, AC Shadows lead producer Carl One spoke about development of the new RPG. Quote, "It's great to work on a game that comes after something with the pedigree of Valhalla."
Valhalla. So I beat Valhalla. Wow, it's gonna affect me with that. I beat Valhalla, and I liked it, but it's not my favorite Assassin's Creed. I felt like it was too bloated, and that the historical accuracy was probably one of the weakest in the series. Not that you didn't have that Viking sense, You do, you know what I mean? And not that I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I even played the DLC. I put a lot of time into that game. It's fucking massive. I mean, you could put like 300 hours into that game, doing everything in there. I even did the rogue mode, but it didn't hit me soulfully like Origins did, or Assassin's Creed 2, or Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and even Revelations at the moment that I'm playing. I even like Syndicate more than that though. Syndicate's definitely not my favorite. But Unity is definitely was cool. But yeah, I don't know. Valhalla is definitely not up there as my favorite Assassin's Creed games, but I don't consider it a weak game. I don't know. I just eh.
Explains Onye. Referencing 2020's sprawling action RPG epic Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the biggest game in Ubisoft series today. But obviously there are great expectations. We always want to go better, which is what we're trying to do with Shadows. We are pushing the limits of what we can do. It is something we've always wanted to do, but we wanted to find the right time, and I'm sure the other teams would have liked to do it too. The lead producer continued. This game is being made by Ubisoft Quebec, the same team.
So that's the team that is the French Canadian team, just to let y'all know. It's not the other Ubisoft teams that did different Assassin's Creeds.
Team behind 2018's Odyssey, the last mainline title preceding Valhalla. Onye believes Odyssey gave Ubisoft Quebec the experience necessary to make AC Shadows. Now, this is one thing to point out. Odyssey, if somehow you haven't played it or heard people ramble about it, Odyssey is freakishly big, okay?
Yeah,
the game is outrageously huge. It's one of like the main critiques about it is that it's too big, which is a critique I also get all of the time. It's just something I've always struggled with. But I just want to show you like the interactive map. If you've never played the game, it's outrageous. Okay? Like this is a snippet, a sliver of the map. There's other brackets, like there's a map over here, there's more maps over
like
here.
Valhalla.
They can't even fit it all within this mapgenie.io. Like it's ridiculous. There are so many things hidden in these
So what this is going to lead to is how massive would Assassin's Creed Shadows be? How much of Japan are they putting in that game, and how much do we have to explore? You have to think about that. We haven't gotten to see that. The stuff that we've seen, imagine how much more we're going to be seeing. There's going to be a lot to look at, Japan. There's going to be a lot to look at rest of the world, because at the rate that they do these Assassin's Creed games now, when they have these long dev cycles, like 4 years, they make those games massively big. So there's still a lot we haven't seen.
islands. You can sail all of this. There's a Hydra. There's Melanthos. Over here's where the freaking Minotaur is. There's just so much stuff
I plan
in
to
the
do Odyssey,
game.
y'all.
It's ridiculous. Honestly, looking at this map kind of makes me want to play it again. There's just a ton. Okay, there's just a ton. Up here is where like the Medusa is. Yeah, Medusa, Writhing Dead. So much. Okay, the game is huge. And hearing that they are going to be making Shadows is intriguing, because the one thing that they always have managed to do is go with scale. And we haven't really seen any of that. We haven't heard any discussions of it. We haven't seen anything indicating scale in those boxes that they sent out.
And it doesn't mean necessarily that y'all have to be excited for it in Japan, but I know other people will, because I know y'all are pissed off. You know, there's some things I don't like either. We've all made that quite clear. But what I mean is, even from a neutral standpoint, what else are we going to see? Because I think they're being very careful about this. I think they're doing a lot of changes and doubling down and crunching so that they can present the game, you know, in a more interesting manner. Because like I said, the stuff we've been seeing are slivers. What the hell else haven't we not seen that maybe could piss us off more, or piss off Japan more, or maybe redeem people a bit if they would have done some right things? You know, it's a double-edged sword that you don't know which way, and it's going to swing like a pendulum. So it is interesting on what he's saying. I'm not mad at anything he's doing. He's just kind of like, you know, balancing things here and not focusing on all the other stuff, which I think a lot of other people have. He did, though, in certain other videos, which I might react to.
And back there, the boxes they sent out to creators kind of to excite them over the announcement of Shadows. They had a map inside the box. And in the map, it gave you an idea of some of the points of interest and stuff that you could find in the game. But other than that, there really has not been much discussion of scope or scale. Granted, they have barely started to market this game, but still,
Yeah.
I think that that is one thing that is untouched that could be a big selling point for a lot of people, is that Valhalla was big. Odyssey was also very, very big. And if they're going for the same scale of game, I think that needs to be disclosed. I'd rather they go a little bit smaller and focus on quality first and
That would be
foremost.
nice.
That's my humble opinion. That's my preference. But
Like
because I felt
Origins.
like with Valhalla,
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
apologies. I felt like with that game, most of the time you're just riding on your horse through big open grassy fields or through forests, and then you get to a
ridiculous.
point of interest. You hop off your horse, and then you continue doing what you're doing. But it didn't really feel like there was that much packed in there. Whereas with Odyssey, I think they broke it up enough where there were a lot of hills and mountains, but then you had to hop on your or hop off your horse onto
find
your
out.
ship, sail to another island, and then do that. You know, I think that that helped it a lot. But with Shadows, we just don't know what that traversal between cities, for example, will be like. But anyway, they continue. But it also felt like the right moment because we have the power in terms of the hardware, but also our new version of the engine, so we could really deliver our vision. It was important for us to have things like light and shadows, which is very performance hungry, and things like dynamic weathers. Onya concludes referencing Ubisoft's upgraded Anvil game engine, which Shadows runs on. Shadows is the first game, blah, 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 and nothing else. Now, this follows in line with something else that we've heard them discuss, which is something that they haven't really delved into in any full-on like marketing materials, and that has to do with the weather systems. They've talked about it. The media has had this described, but Ubisoft's not shown any trailers showcasing it.
No, they
at
haven't.
Summer Game Fest and at the Ubisoft Forward, they showed some gameplay that explained it, sort of. But the idea is basically that in the winter, things like icicles will of course start to droop down on these rooftop edges, and if you're walking on that roof, the weight of Nawe, or certainly Yasuke if he can get up there, will actually cause these to fall, crashing on the ground, making sound, alerting people and guards to your presence.
Okay, now that's next gen. That's cool. I like that idea. Depending on how the weather is, it affects maybe Parker, the way you move, and how you could possibly get caught. That's cool.
It also means that in the summer or spring, ponds will be melted. And so something like this pond or little river, whatever you call it, will be melted. So you'd be able to swim in it to get underneath this guard. But in the winter, if you take on this castle in the winter, that's going to be frozen solid, a big block of ice. So you can't actually do that anymore. You have to change your tactics according to the weather. That's a cool idea. That's
Stealth immersion. I like that idea. Like I said, y'all in Japan, I will be renting this game, so I'll be able to show y'all everything in it because I'm pretty sure, y'all are not gonna. I don't know what the hell's gonna go on over there before the game launches with the signatures and everything. We'll have to see, but if y'all want to see what the hell's going on in the game, you'll be able to see it on my channel. I'll share a lot of stuff with y'all because I'm already deep into it with y'all anyways and everyone else who joined along. So there's no point of backing down. That would just be stupid. Obviously, that's not who I am anyways. What I'm just saying. But we're gonna see all that by me just renting the game. I'm not buying it.
interesting, but we haven't seen anything about that. Then if you're playing as Yasuke, you can hit stuff with a big mace. So there's that. I do think that there's going to be a lot more variability here and a lot more complexity than has been established so far. I do think there's a lot more that they just haven't shown us. But all we can go on right now is what we know about. And
Pretty much.
what we know is not a whole lot, but they seem very insistent on trying to remind people that this will go bigger, it will go badder than what we've seen before. Even this shot here, the bit of fog and
they got a
stuff
lot
that
of
they
work
do
to
in the
do.
distance, the gradated lighting, that looks great. Shots like this, I mean, you can actually see off in the distance another castle, a whole like city and castle built up over there, and then there's other buildings up on top of the hills over here that get clouded out with the snowstorm. It seems like there's a lot here. We just haven't seen it. What I think could be helpful is if in one of the next trailers, they just do a big map overview where they do kind of like that.
They have to.
You fly the eagle over top and you just show people how freakishly big this actually is.
And I think they're careful about that now because they saw how much people analyzed everything and criticized everything. So I think they're doing a lot of changes and not necessarily like from the ground up, but they're doing as much as they can to make things look better. I just feel like that's what they're doing. That's why they've been hiding it because otherwise they'd be advertising it more. And then we got that little snippet Parker gameplay. They're being very careful now. You can see that. So, you got the stocks falling down. Just, a lot of stuff's been going on, even with recent layoffs happening. So, yeah, they're going to have to play their cards very wisely.
Because I think that could excite some of the core fans just to see how much content there is. Because all people are going off right now are the couple of shots of Nawe running through a castle and then Yasuke running through a castle. And it didn't seem that novel, it didn't seem that crazy or particularly interesting. It was like, okay, yep, we can fight guards and then do an assassination mission.
Because I'm just going to be honest with y'all, man. This is like what's going on so far is the most disappointing letdown for me from Ubisoft because I don't think people who are not interested don't understand how important this setting is for this franchise and how when you talk about assassination and stealth, how you could have had the perfect jump in one of the best assassin games of all time working closely with Japan. Like, and doing all the right things and just getting so much positivity. Like, you had the perfect golden opportunity. Like, why? You know what I mean? So, and you just have to think about how often do we get ninja games? We don't. There's tons of samurai stuff, but ninja? No. It was just, stuff is just unneeded.
Seen that before, but I want to see what they do in this game that really is different from all the others, which is allegedly the weather systems and things like using the shadows, which they keep pushing. So the idea being, again, in the nighttime,
which fits her,
when the sun has set, there will be actual shadows cast realistically within the map, and if you take out certain lanterns to create more shadows, then those can be new areas for you to stealth through and not be spotted. That's all very interesting, and it's something we've seen little snippets of here and there or heard discussed, but we haven't really seen it explored in a lot of details. So I think that would be good to see. But it certainly appears to me that they are trying to get ahead of this and trying to push that they are, or push the narrative that they're pushing the boundary, technically speaking, because I think they're already seeing people express maybe frustration that the game is not like a huge graphical leap forward when they were maybe hoping for it. Because again, this is
that's not a big deal to me. Like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree with me. I have an up-to-date badass laptop right here, PC. I have the next gen up-to-date consoles, but they're far behind my obviously my PC. Games look so good nowadays. That's not what I'm looking at because there's so much else that matters rather than the sugar-coated surface of animations. Those are amazing and matter when everything else is in line. Gameplay, replay value, historical accuracy, immersion, story, writing, character development, ongoing support, optimization, like, these type of things that are there in front of you at launch. Like, when it comes to graphics, like I said, everything looks so good nowadays. I care about all the other stuff a lot more. And anyone that understands development and quality of things and the soul of things will think the same way.
A 4-year dev cycle. This is like the longest dev cycle, I think, in the history of Assassin's Creed, pretty sure. And so you'd hope to see some major leaps forward. Now, to be fair, this was started like right as COVID hit, so you can basically subtract a year effectively from the dev cycle just in terms of efficiency. But still, I would just hope to see like that they've been really cooking for 3-4 years, and so far I just haven't seen that. But I really hope that changes once we start to see some actual previews of the game. Maybe they start to do some like extended preview play testing or something. That would be awesome if they gave some media, maybe not maybe not the Verge guys. If they wanted to stay secret, maybe not the Verge guys, but maybe like they start to give people access to some longer play sessions, similar to what they did with Star Wars Outlaws, where they gave people that game for 4 hours to try, because it's kind of hard to hide what the game is after 4 hours. I think after 4 hours, people get a pretty good idea of what they're doing here. Even though this game probably is like, you know, a 70, 80 hour campaign,
Yep.
I still think that that would be very, very revealing if they gave people that much time with it. Yeah, and it is an RPG. It is an RPG, Fox. They are describing it that way. Whether that just means like graphic or not graphically, like in terms of the narrative, there's branching choices. Maybe that's all they mean by it. Do they mean more action RPG where there's like big branching ways to build out your character? I'm not really sure because again, we just haven't seen much about it, but I'm sure that we're going to find out lots about it once Star Wars Outlaws drops in like 2 weeks. We're going to...
That makes sense because they want to get that marketed and get that focus on. Then they'll start doing that game after it gets its initial boost and then it starts to go down on a trajectory chart.
See a lot of that because they've been marketing Star Wars Outlaws a lot and that's a big game for them.
They spent their most money on that.
I would argue Assassin's Creed Shadows is an even bigger...
So if y'all didn't know, Star Wars Outlaws is the most ambitious money spent game that Ubisoft has done. It's the most money they've ever spent on a video game. So that game succeeding is more important than Assassin's Creed succeeding. They spent so much money on it. I mean, the Star Wars IP is expensive. Should have did a masculine character. But yeah, so they're banking on both of these games. Definitely Star Wars. They want Star Wars to sell like 10 million. I know. So yeah.
Game for them. So I think they're going to be marketing that way more.
Good job. Luke's cool. All right, y'all. Like, subscribe. You'll like this type of content. Bringing y'all all types of angles on this as much as possible. Being creative. Sticking with you, you know, all the way through this till launch. Can't just back down. You know what I mean? When you got this deep into it. I could, and I've done enough. But, you know, I'm just going to continue covering this. And plus, I enjoy it, and I like building my bond with Japan. It's been fun. All right, y'all. Peace.